Top 10 Most Devastating Natural Disasters in the United States, 2025. In 2025, the United States faced a relentless barrage of natural disasters, from wildfires that defied the seasons to tornadoes that rewrote the record books. This year has been one of the most catastrophic in American history. I'm here to take you through the 10 most devastating natural disasters that have shaped this tragic year. Events that collectively affected hundreds of millions of Americans and claimed over 1,000 lives. Before we begin, remember, behind every statistic we discuss today are real people, families torn apart, communities forever changed, and lives cut short. Let's begin our somber countdown. Number 10, Central Texas flash floods estimated people affected, thousands of residents and holiday campers. Coming in at number 10, we have a disaster that turned America's Independence Day into a nightmare. On July 4th, what should have been a celebration became the deadliest flood in the United States in nearly 50 years. Over 20 inches of rain fell in just a few hours. The Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in just 45 minutes. A 3-story wall of water appeared out of nowhere in less than an hour. At a girls' summer camp in Hunt, Texas, young campers woke to water crashing through their cabins. More than 24 children were lost in an instant. In Kerrville, entire families were wiped out. Some lost 3 generations in a single night: grandparents, parents, and children. Over 2,000 volunteers joined the search, combing through miles of debris for the missing. This disaster serves as a devastating reminder. Flash floods can transform a peaceful summer night into a death trap within minutes. Number 9, Desert Southwest tropical floods. Estimated people affected, millions across Arizona and neighboring states. Number 9 brings us to an event that defied everything we know about desert climate. Back-to-back tropical systems, the remnants of Hurricane Priscilla and Tropical Storm Raymond, slammed into the desert Southwest. Phoenix recorded its 3rd wettest October on record, nearly 3 inches in just 3 days. 3 inches may not sound like much, but in the desert, this was biblical. Dry washes, those sandy gullies that remain bone dry 364 days a year, became deadly rivers. Helicopters plucked families from submerged vehicles on desert highways. Here's the cruel irony. The desert desperately needed water, but this rain came too fast and too furious to provide any benefit. Instead of soaking into the parched ground, it simply destroyed everything in its path. Number 8, cross-country blizzard and deep freeze. Estimated people affected, tens of millions across 20-plus states. At number 8, we encounter a monster that showed winter can still bring America to its knees. This wasn't just a snowstorm. This was a coast-to-coast winter assault spanning 20 states. Starting in the Rockies and exploding across the country, this single storm system buried cities under feet of snow, while howling winds topped 60 miles per hour, creating whiteout conditions across the plains. In a bizarre twist of nature, the storm's southern edge spawned 14 tornadoes, snow in the north, twisters in the south, from the same system. Over 365,000 customers lost power, many as temperatures plunged below zero. In Richmond, Virginia, the freeze crippled a water treatment plant, shutting off water to the entire city. This blizzard demonstrated that even in our modern world, nature remains a force beyond our control. Number 7, mid-February storm complex. Estimated people affected, hundreds of communities across 4 states. Number 7 demonstrates what happens when a storm system refuses to choose a single mode of destruction. Floods in the east, tornadoes in the south, blizzards in the mountains, all from the same weather system. In Kentucky, torrential rain turned towns into lakes. Over 1,000 people had to be rescued. The North Fork Kentucky River crested to its highest level since 1984. Kentucky's governor described the scene as war zones. Simultaneously, this same storm spawned 25 tornadoes from Alabama to Virginia. In February, an almost unheard of occurrence. Meanwhile, 2,000 miles away, this same system arrived in California as an atmospheric river, dumping 10 inches of rain in the Sierra and triggering debris flows. One atmospheric monster. 3,000 miles of destruction. Number 6. Mid-May tornado outbreak. Estimated people affected. Large swath of the Ohio Valley. 600,000 plus power outages. Entire towns devastated. At number 6, we witnessed the deadliest tornado outbreak of 2025. In just 24 hours, 60 tornadoes tore across 7 states. As evening fell on May 16th, a massive wedge tornado bore down on London, Kentucky. This long-track EF4 carved a 60-mile path of destruction. Well-built homes were reduced to concrete slabs. Entire neighborhoods erased. 19 people died in that one tornado alone. Earlier that day, a rain-wrapped tornado hit Greater St. Louis during rush hour. Cars were flipped on the interstate. It was the strongest tornado to hit the metro area in over a decade. Number 5. Early April tornado outbreak and Midwest flooding. Estimated people affected, multi-state region from the deep south to Ohio Valley. 318,000 plus outages. Widespread evacuations for flooding. Number 5 presents something particularly devastating. A tornado outbreak followed immediately by record floods. Nature attacked on multiple fronts and showed no mercy. On April 2nd, the Storm Prediction Center issued a high-risk warning. Over the next 5 days, 157 tornadoes touched down. Many struck at night when people were sleeping. In Selmer, Tennessee, 5 people died when a twister obliterated their neighborhood in darkness. But even as crews cleared tornado debris, a second disaster was unfolding. More than a foot of rain fell on the Ohio Valley. 15 people drowned in the floods, many trapped in vehicles, swept away in their own neighborhoods. Wind one day, water the next. An almost biblical sequence of devastation. The scale of these disasters is already staggering, but we're only at the halfway point. As we move into the top 5 most devastating events of 2025, the scope and the human toll becomes even more profound. Number 4, March 2025, Spring Fury Tornado Super-Outbreak. Estimated people affected, millions across 8 states, 670,000 plus power outages, thousands of structures ruined. At number 4, we encounter one of the largest tornado outbreaks ever recorded in March. Over 4 terrifying days, 118 tornadoes tore across 8 states, from the Ozarks to the Appalachians. On March 14th, a violent EF4 tornado gouged through rural Arkansas. The small community of 56 was shredded. The next day, another EF4 cut a 30-mile path through Marion County, Mississippi. 5 residents died. They had no time to escape. That same night, a tornado emergency was declared near St. Louis. At Lambert International Airport, planes scrambled to evacuate as a massive tornado approached. NOAA declared this the costliest tornado disaster in U.S. history, $11 billion in damage. But beyond the dollars, 42 families lost loved ones. Number 3, Santa Ana Inferno, Los Angeles wildfires. Estimated people affected, nearly 180,000 evacuated, hundreds of thousands without power, millions exposed to hazardous smoke. Number 3 brings us to an event that defied everything we thought we knew about fire season, the January wildfires. January is supposed to be the middle of winter, the wet season. Yet in 2025, this proved catastrophically wrong. 8 major wildfires erupted across greater Los Angeles, fueled by Santa Ana winds gusting at 90 miles per hour. The Eaton fire roared out at night. Residents in Altadena had minutes to flee as entire blocks ignited. By dawn, over 9,400 structures lay in ashes from the Eaton fire alone. Meanwhile, the Palisades fire was devouring Malibu's coastal hills. Multi-million-dollar mansions, mobile home parks, all the same to the flames. Over 6,800 more structures destroyed. More than 200,000 people fled through ember-filled air. But here's what many don't realize. While approximately 31 people died directly from the flames, researchers estimated that over 400 more died from something invisible, the toxic smoke that blanketed the LA basin for weeks. When the last embers were finally quenched, more than 18,000 structures were gone. The costliest wildfire disaster in American history, estimated at $76,000 to $131 billion. A chilling warning that no season is safe from fire anymore. Number 2. Western U.S. Megadrought, the water crisis of 2025. Estimated people affected, roughly 50 million in drought zones. 65.5% of the West in drought. Water restrictions impacting tens of millions. Number 2 is a disaster that doesn't come with sirens. There's no dramatic footage of destruction. It just creeps in, day by day, year by year, until one day you realize the water is running out. By 2025, the Western United States was in the grip of a megadrought, the worst in 1,200 years. Over 65.5% of the American West was in drought conditions. Lake Powell and Lake Mead, the West's 2 largest reservoirs, reached perilously low levels. Authorities warned that hydropower could shut down by late 2026 if the decline continued. The mighty Colorado River, lifeline for 7 states, dwindled to a trickle. 100% of its basin fell into drought conditions. In Arizona, entire communities saw their wells run dry. Families had to haul water daily just to survive. In California, farmers in the Central Valley watched their fields turn to dust. This is a disaster in slow motion, a reminder that not all catastrophes announce themselves with a bang. Everything we've discussed so far, the floods, tornadoes, wildfires, and drought, has been devastating. But the most widespread disaster of 2025 spread silently across more than half of America. Number 1. Summer 2025 heat dome. America boils. Estimated people affected, about 185 million under extreme heat warnings, widespread health impacts, heat illnesses, power outages. The most devastating natural disaster of 2025 was invisible. It had no dramatic imagery of destruction, just silence. In late June, a massive dome of high pressure settled over the central and eastern United States and refused to move. For weeks, over 185 million Americans found themselves under extreme heat alerts. That's more than half the country's population at the same time. Heat index values topped 110 degrees Fahrenheit for days across St. Louis, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Chicago. In the southeast, humidity made nights unbearable. Some areas couldn't cool below 85 degrees Fahrenheit even at 3 a.m. Phoenix hit its 40th straight day above 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Emergency rooms overflowed with heat stroke patients. Rolling blackouts hit Texas and the southeast, leaving thousands without air conditioning during the worst heat. The CDC reports roughly 2,000 Americans die from extreme heat each year. 2025 almost certainly exceeded that. And perhaps most disturbing, this disaster became routine. Day after day of extreme heat, record after record falling, until we stopped being shocked. Heat has emerged as the silent apex predator of natural hazards, killing more people than floods, earthquakes, and storms, yet receiving a fraction of the attention. In 2025, over 1,600 lives were lost, millions displaced, but for every tragedy, countless others survived because they knew the risks and had a plan. Knowledge is survival. Nature is powerful. You don't have to be powerless. Stay safe, stay prepared, stay alive.